Hello, everyone. It's Antonia. We're here with Amped Up Live, and we have an amazing guest in the building.
Oh, so it's kind.
Oh, yes. Mr. Robert Burns of the Space Coast
Yeah,
Rocket.
Rocket Man.
The Rocket Man. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good song. Rocket
I have to tell you a
Man.
story about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, tell us. We have
Oh,
time.
well, yeah. So when I first started the Space Coast Rocket, I wrote under a pseudonym. So I used the name Reginald Dwight.
Really?
That's Elton John's real name,
Oh,
the
my
Rocket Man.
goodness.
Took people 2 years to figure out that it was actually me. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a little secret.
That is, well, thank you for letting me know. See, it just flows. We got to flow with it.
Yeah.
Well, before you came into this dimension,
Uh-huh.
where's home? Where's home?
I grew up here. I grew up
Really?
here. I was actually born in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
But my family's from here. My parents moved back up here before I was even 2 years old. So
Really?
from here, graduated from Mel High, 1998.
Nice,
So, yeah.
nice. So from Mel High, you went into the service.
Well, no,
Right.
I went to college. I actually ran
Okay.
track in Texas,
Nice.
college in Texas. Ran into some racism issues there. A lot of people don't know I'm black and
Right.
white chocolate.
Okay. So
But,
what's the
yeah.
black part? Like, what is it? An island or
my
you
mom's
just-
my mom's black, and my dad was white, so it's kind
Okay.
of it's flipped more than it usually is.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but my dad was a big time athlete in this area back in the 70s.
Really?
He's 6'5" quarterback basketball
Holy.
player guy. My mom was the super small, petite, 5'4", barely 100 pounds.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so
That's so
yeah.
cool. So you've had the best of both worlds.
That's what I would like
Thought.
to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, you definitely do
Yeah.
and still do.
Yeah.
So you came across racism in college.
Yeah, I mean, growing up as a mixed kid here, in Melbourne, we lived all over, but
Right.
my grandparents and family live over by Stone off University.
Right.
And we got picked on because my sister and I were light skinned back then. And, I mean, I'm even lighter skinned now.
Right. But I see it. You have some, you're mixed. You can see the features.
Yeah, and my daughters make fun of me because they can tell who I'm talking to on the phone because I switched it up.
Which
She's
side
like,
of the family?
yeah, she's like, Daddy, you switched it up.
You switched it up. I
Yeah,
see you
like-
get a little comfortable.
I was like,
But
watch
it's,
your mouth.
it's life. But it's life. Sometimes you got to do certain things to
Yeah.
get through certain doors.
Yeah, it's
so,
culture. It's
yes,
just culture.
of course.
But we got picked on as kids because we grew up in that neighborhood and we looked a little bit different, but we all talked the same. And that's just part of being a kid growing up. But when I went to Texas, it wasn't so much that they didn't like black people at this university; they didn't like mixed people.
Right.
They looked at it as you were tainting the bloodline.
Oh.
So, and I had never experienced anything like that
Okay.
before. And I don't mean just like there was no online social media back then. This was
Right.
like 98, 99. I mean, chasing you with pickup trucks and shotguns type stuff. We had voicemails in our dorms. they would leave voicemails on our phones saying, we're gonna kill you, white nigger.
Damn.
And like we're in your English 101 class, and there's 100-something people, and I don't know
What?
who they are. So, but most of the minorities at the school were athletes, so I was walking around with the football team.
Right. You were the only, you stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they vandalized my car. It was all kinds of stuff. So
Man.
I ended up leaving. And coming back.
Wow.
Back here, yeah.
Did you get to finish?
I had qualified for the Olympic trials that year.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
trying to get into University of Florida.
Okay.
But because I left Texas, they withheld my scholarship, and so then I owed them money.
Man.
So since I owed them money, they wouldn't release my transcripts, so I couldn't get into University of Florida
Oh.
because I couldn't get my transcripts. So my high school Army recruiter saw me at the gym one day,
Ooh.
and he was like, "Is that Bobby Burns?" Everybody from then calls me Bobby.
Bobby
"Is that Bobby
Burns.
Burns, track star. What are you doing here?"
Wow.
And I told him what happened. He's like, "You can go run track for the Army and get paid to do it instead of running for free." I was like,
So
"Sign me up."
right?
And
What?
that's how I ended up joining the military.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
So.
So never in a million years you probably saw yourself joining the military.
No. I mean, when I was in high school, I actually was accepted to the Air Force Academy.
Wow.
Dave Weldon was our congressman back then. He wrote my, what's it called? It's not a letter of recommendation, but you have to, a congressman has to,
Refer or
yeah, something, I can't remember the
yeah.
word right now. But yeah, he did that for me. But I was like, I ain't joining the military. I'm a track star. I'm gonna go run.
What?
And then now I'm retired from the army. So yeah,
Wow. So do you feel like, so I don't know, because you're saying that you could have had like a reference letter from a congressman, and I was wondering like maybe the military shifts your mind into, maybe more of the political community. But what was it? Like what led you to
what ended up happening when I was deployed in Iraq um, was when they were having their very first democratic elections.
mm,
This was after Saddam and everything. This is 2009, 2010, and I worked in a special team called the Military Transition Team. So we
oh,
were embedded with the Iraqi army, basically training them how to have their military like our military.
wow.
One of those functions that we're supposed to have a specialist from each field. So I
Mm-hmm.
was the medical specialist,
Mm,
and so I'm teaching them about casualty collection points and teaching them how to be EMTs and things like that, because the Iraqi army didn't see medical services as a job.
mm,
We have medics, and
right.
nurses in the army. They just, if someone got blown up, they were
That's
just
it.
blown up. So once we were able to teach them how to actually save lives, they
Right.
saw that as they call it a force multiplier. You're able to, instead of just losing this person, rehab them and get them back on the battlefield. Um, but when we did that, part of it was civil affairs and psychological operations. So we were trying to do two things. We were trying to get people to turn in the terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
and we were trying to get people to get out and vote for their leaders.
Oh, wow.
But when they started voting and we were providing security at their polls,
Mm-hmm.
people were literally being blown up. They were being shot. They were being beheaded just for showing up to vote.
What?
And they still had over a 90% turnout rate.
What?
So people were going to the election, to the voting booth, knowing that they would probably be killed. But that's how much it meant to them.
Wow.
And so that was really my first time getting involved in politics,
Man.
so to speak. But I appreciated it because I was able to see kind of like this democratic process be born, in a foreign country.
Wow.
And so when I work in politics here and I see turnout rates of 25%, or sometimes even lower than that, it's like, what are you doing?
Wow.
People are really willing to die in other countries to exercise their right to vote. And we have people who won't show up to vote here because it's raining or because they don't think that their vote matters or anything like that.
Man.
So, but yeah, so that was my first really taste
Ooh.
of politics.
My eyes are getting watery. Oh, man. I'm just like, because it makes sense. Like, if you were to witness that it makes sense why you are so, like your foundation to your business, your brand is so, like, always there.
Yeah.
Even when you just said earlier, someone said to you, you're everywhere. Like, it's because you're passionate and
Yeah.
you saw it all. So it's
Yeah.
like, we're like, I don't know. I feel like Americans are just, not all, but some are just a little bit more unappreciative of life, of just doing things to just better our situation, like our freedom per se, or just.
I think that, in America, we don't really appreciate the fragility of
Mm,
life.
mm,
So being in the military in that service, for that amount of time is one aspect of it, but being a healthcare provider, a
right,
medic, a trauma nurse
right.
for years, I realized firsthand how delicate this life that we have is.
Yeah.
And we take that for granted
For sure.
in America. I mean, whether you want to blame it on video games or, so
Social
many shoot 'em
media.
ups, and I played Call of Duty,
Yeah.
back in the day and stuff too, but I think our youth coming up now are kind of being desensitized to what that really means to, you know, see that kind of trauma, to live that kind of trauma, or to do that kind of trauma. Like, it really has consequences,
For sure.
and they don't experience those consequences until it's too late.
Right.
So,
So obviously, with the recent situation with Charlie Kirk,
right.
and I don't even know where to begin because I kind of want to dabble on that with the youth and just politics in general, or just having just free will. Like, how do
Yeah.
we Even you, like in your role, aren't you kind of like not afraid, but like you're technically a target
Well, I mean, yeah, and I understand that, and believe me, my family reminds me of that
every
all the
day.
time.
I
You know,
bet.
especially because of some of the things that I write about and some of the things I talk about. You know, I know that it makes me a target, and it's something that I've accepted. You know, because at the same time, I feel I've told this to people privately, but I feel like I'm lucky to
Hmm.
be here
Yes.
now. Like, is I should have been gone many, many times before. So every day that I wake up, to me, I feel lucky. And so that being said, it's also hard to scare me,
Yeah.
you know, because I've seen and done so much, and it's going to be very almost impossible to scare me with
Hmm.
words.
Hmm.
But you know, I've been attacked. A
Right.
couple of years ago, I got jumped by two guys over at Turkey Creek, just walking on the
What?
phone. Oh yeah, all kinds of. I mean,
Because they knew who you were.
oh yeah, I was on the
What?
phone with somebody when it happened. Like they heard it happen. They heard me get into it with these guys, and they called everybody, and everybody showed up to Turkey Creek. Um,
What?
yeah, and one of them hit me in the back of the head with a tree branch and knocked me out. And they,
What?
yeah,
That's my like little safe haven. I
yeah.
would
I
have never
mean, I
knew.
was literally going there to kind of like cool off, take a
Yeah.
break. I was texting with the editor of Florida Today, yelling at her about some stuff I was mad about.
Oh my
and
gosh.
and then I was on the phone, and then these two guys get into it with me. They knew who I was. They said, "Aren't you Robert Byrne?" Like, I was glad I was on the phone with a friend of mine because they
Yeah.
heard it all.
So did
And
you pass out? And
yeah,
holy
yeah,
smokes,
yeah. My lip was all busted up.
bleeding out.
You
Type.
know, okay. I went to
Um,
the hospital that night, but thankfully it was nothing serious.
were they able
But
to find who the
no,
attackers?
no,
What?
they didn't. They didn't.
Were you able to get a look at
Oh
them?
yeah, I mean, I did like a you know little.
Sketch.
They don't do it sketching anymore. They have like a
No.
computer
Oh
program
right, of
now.
course. We're in 2025.
Yeah, and there's cameras out there too, but for some reason the cameras weren't functioning properly. Or,
What?
yeah, it was a mess. But you know, all that to say, I understand that
Yeah.
you know I am a target and it is a real thing. But I put myself in that position. You know, I'm not a victim. I
Right.
don't. I mean, obviously I was a victim in that
And
fight, but
of course.
I willingly put myself into that position because I know what the risk is, and I'm willing to take the risk in order to get the information or to tell the story. Um, and I appreciate that not everybody can do that,
Hmm.
or should do
Yeah.
that.
It's a little risky.
But
Don't try this at home.
yeah, don't yeah. A lot. I mean, a lot of people want to grab their phone and be reporters and stuff
Hmm.
like that, and I understand. I mean, I understand that, but you have to understand the position that you're putting
Right.
yourself into
For
sometimes.
sure. So which route, how did you take this route? Like, where did it begin?
So right before I retired from the Army in 2017, I had a chance to go to Harvard Business School for free,
What?
and so I took as many courses as I could, free.
Holy.
And so I got a lot of certificates from Harvard in strategic
Wow.
planning, uh, uh, leadership, communications, all kinds of things.
That's
And
awesome.
what I did when I retired was I started a marketing company, a social media marketing company. It was called the Social Wizards.
That's
And
cool.
so I was doing advertising, and this is like when Facebook ads and stuff were kind of new.
Hmm. So you
Um,
hopped on the wave right in time,
yeah,
literally.
yeah.
That's smart.
So I was going to like dentist offices and other, businesses that
Hmm.
needed help with their marketing.
Hmm.
Well, then my cousin, Kenny Johnson.
That's
Yeah,
right. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
He called me up. He's like, Bobby, I want to run for Palm Bay City Council. I was like, why? I was like, why do you want to do that?
Oh my
I was
goodness.
like, they only pay like $12,000. I was like,
Dang.
why? He's like, yeah, I want to do it. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He's like, I need your help. And so,
Why he needed your help? Because of marketing.
yeah, because he
Okay.
needed a campaign
Right,
manager.
right,
He didn't have any money really, and and no experience.
right.
And he was going, he's a black man in Brevard
I
County.
had him on here too.
Did you?
Holy,
Yeah,
that is so weird. Small circle,
yeah.
small
That's my
world.
cousin.
Wow.
And he wanted to run for office, and so he's a black Democrat in Brevard County.
Yes.
Yeah, strike one and two.
Holy.
And so he was running against a Republican white incumbent, in Palm Bay. His name was
Wow.
Trey Holton. and had been in office for a very long time, very experienced, had
Wow.
plenty of support and money. And we ran that race. But I told him before I can do this, I was like, Kenny, I've been gone for 20 years. I don't know about Brevard County anymore. I don't know about Palm Bay anymore. I got to research.
Yes.
I can't put together a market. Running a political campaign is just marketing, but you're marketing for a person
Right.
instead of a product.
Yes.
Right. So, and that's how I approached it. So I had to do some research on what's important in Palm Bay, what's been happening, what's the needs, what's the wants. So in doing that, I found out a lot of things that had been going on in Palm Bay that the community wasn't aware of. And so I would take that information and give it to the media so that they could let people know what's going on. And they wouldn't publish it. And I was very frustrated with that. I was like, people need to know this. And they wouldn't publish it for either business purposes because of people that advertise with them, or they wouldn't publish it because of retaliation purposes. And I didn't understand that back then, but I understand it now. Because that is a real concern.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna write it myself. I've never even taken a journalism class.
Holy.
Didn't know anything about journalism. So I started a website. I came up with the name, the Space Coast Rocket.
Man.
I started a website, and I came up with my pseudonym that I told you about. And I started putting that information out there. And it took off, literally took off very quickly.
So which platform did you start with?
Facebook.
Was it okay?
Yeah, started on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, built the website, was publishing everything on Facebook. And all these politicians were like, who the hell is Reginald Dwight?
Knowing.
Where's he getting this information? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. What? How did you find that out? And one of the biggest stories that we broke was the David Isnardi corruption story, where he was the assistant city manager for Palm Bay. And there was like prostitution, there was drugs, there was city councilmen wearing wires from the FBI on each other. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Dang.
And I was putting that out piece by piece by piece. And so that's what kind of started making the Space Coast Rocket take off.
That is awesome. Yeah. Wow.
So that's how it started.
Literally.
Yeah. And then of course Kenny won like overwhelmingly. Like he became the youngest person ever elected in Brevard County. And then we won by a tremendous margin.
Wow.
So after that, everybody's like, who the hell's Robert Burns? Like, how did you do that?
Yes.
Randy Fine actually came up to us. We were at a First Friday event in Palm Bay after the election. And he didn't know who I was. I never met the guy before.
Oh, my God.
He's like, I wanted to congratulate you guys. Now, Trey Holton used to be Randy Fine's like campaign manager. They were friends. So he was actually mad that Trey lost, that Kenny beat him. And he's like, how'd y'all do that? And so more people started hiring me to, run their campaigns after that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you said that you studied more, like research about what the community needs in Brevard.
Yeah.
Is it just certain like towns or throughout the county?
It's throughout the whole county. And we've kind of expanded since then, but
nice.
The whole county. Yeah.
So what do you feel is throughout the county today is what the community needs? And maybe it's different in different areas, but like, what do you feel? Because you're really connected.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's two things, and it's not roads and it's not, taxes or anything of those things, like the obvious answer.
Or storage units.
Yeah, more storage units or more dental offices or mattress stores.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
What the community needs, in my opinion, is to be heard.
Yes.
And to be told. Because I think that's what's lacking. And that's what I try to provide. I try to provide a platform where people can voice their opinions.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent, or crazy.
Right.
And I try to give them the information that they're not getting.
Right.
Nobody goes to the city website, to see like, oh, what's going on today? Let me check the city website.
Right.
They've probably never been to it in their life.
Why do you think that? Like, why is that? Do you feel?
It's bad marketing. I've approached the municipalities about trying to help them get their information out, because they put information out, just nobody sees it, nobody consumes it, because they don't have an audience.
Yes.
So if you don't have an audience, you can be saying anything you want to, and nobody's hearing you.
Wow.
So they need to be heard. They need to be heard, and the people need to be heard. So those are the two biggest needs, I think, because every time a decision's made, whether it's in Palm Bay or Brevard County, wherever it may be, the very first thing that happens is the citizens start complaining.
Right.
How did this happen? I didn't know they were going to do ABC.
Yeah.
Well, they had meetings about it. Y'all just didn't know about
Literally.
it. So they didn't hear it. And then apparently the politicians in the city didn't hear their concerns either because they're conflicting with each other.
Right.
So no matter what the issues are, whether it's trash collection or whether it's streets, if one hand's not talking to the other, nothing's being done the way that it should be. So that's why I think those are the two biggest needs.
Yeah, you're very informative. You're very connected. And with that being said, do you ever see yourself maybe running for office or being, and maybe you are, maybe I don't know.
Well, people ask me all the time if I'm running for office, and what I tell them is I run my mouth.
Oh,
I don't.
that is the office.
That's I have an office.
I mean,
and that's what I run.
Yeah.
But no, I have no plans on ever running for office.
Why?
I feel like I'm more. When you're in office, I feel like your voice is minimized. Whether it's on city council or whether not just your voice but your power.
Yeah.
Whether it's city council or federal office, whatever it may be, because what you become then is a vote.
Right. You're not really.
Right. You're not really
power.
making decisions.
Right.
You're casting a vote, and you have to be able to get a majority of the other people to vote with you.
Right.
So I feel like your power is extremely diminished in that capacity. So you can't get as much done as you could independently.
Correct.
Where you are in charge of the decisions that are made. So that's why I feel like I'm more effective doing what I'm doing than I could in office. Because I feel like I have the ability to influence.
You do.
Whether it's politicians or whether it's the community.
Right.
So I think that's much more powerful than being able to vote yes or no on something that may or may not pass. So
for sure. If there's something you could do over, what would it be?
Who? Like in my life, or like
in your life, or in your life.
That's a tough question. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I think that is why I am who I am today. So I don't know if I would necessarily do anything over. There's the results of some of the decisions I've made. I wish that I could take back sometimes.
Right.
Whether some people were hurt by something I did or whether myself was hurt by something I did. But I don't know that I wouldn't have done it anyway.
Right.
Because I think that those decisions are why I'm sitting in this chair right now.
Right.
So I don't know if I would ever really do anything over. I would wish that some things were different.
Right.
But I wouldn't change anything.
So you are a father, right?
Yes.
Do you mind if I talk about that?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
so how is fatherhood?
That's been a tough thing for me, and not because I love being a father.
Of course,
it's always what I've wanted to be.
Right.
It's my number one goal in my life was to be a father. A lot of people don't know that I'm the third.
What?
So I'm Robert William Burns the third.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people don't know that I have a son.
Wow.
I have a 17-year-old son.
Oh, I only thought you had 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Right. So now you have 3.
I have 3.
Awesome. So your first was a boy.
He's a boy. His name's Isaiah.
Wow.
Just turned 17. He lives in the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought your daughters were from there too.
No.
So that situation was from the son.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm not a journalist, because I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation for me because the most important thing to me was to be a father, and I really wanted to have a son, and he's going to be the 4th.
The 4th.
Right. And but that relationship wasn't it was a casual relationship.
Right.
And she ended up getting pregnant without going into too much about it.
Right.
And things just didn't work out.
For sure.
And it is what it is. But so as a result of that, I was always struggling for custody for him to get visitation with him. And they lived in San Antonio. I'm moving around the country because my Uncle Sam is telling me where I have to go.
Literally.
And then I deployed, which kind of started everything back
there.
But when I retired from the Army, I was trying to get more rights, get more visitation.
Right. Because you want to be involved.
Yes.
That's, of course.
And by then I've had my 2 girls.
Right.
And they want a relationship with
their brother.
And I would have him for summers and things like that. So they've met him. My youngest was too young to really know him back then, but when I filed to try to get more custody of him, his mother, her parents, well, her mom is from the UK, and her dad was in the Air Force. That's where she came from. So she forged my signature on his passport and
Sent.
took off with him
Wow.
and her parents to the UK. And that's where he's
Holy
been since then. And that was since 2016.
man.
Yeah.
Going on 10 years next year. I'm sorry.
So,
Man.
yeah. And she can't come back. I mean, there's a warrant out for her.
Oh, yeah, she's done.
Yeah, it's parental kidnapping. But we have an agreement with the United Kingdom. It's called the Hague Convention.
Okay.
For when parental kidnapping happens, they will extradite the child. If they're found, they will bring them back here, except if the child has been gone for over a year.
Oh.
If the child has been there for a year, the government considers that their new home. So it would almost be like re-kidnapping him to bring him back.
Right.
And they could cancel his passport, but then he couldn't come here anyway. So it's a very, very tough situation. And most people don't know about it. And I don't talk about it very often, but that's what happened. And so waiting for him to turn 18 soon.
Yes, very soon.
He's a wrestler.
Wow.
He's got his own little wrestling page.
So you communicate with him still?
I try, but his mom and grandparents keep everything locked.
But he knows you love him, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've written things for him. I have some stuff for him when we get to talk again.
I love that.
You know, the hardest thing for me is like when my girls have their birthday, and my oldest Antonia, like there was maybe 2 years ago when she was blowing out her candles to make a wish. She goes, "I want to see my brother Isaiah."
Oh.
It's like Torby. Oh. So
we're just moving to UK. Forget it. We're going. Man.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I am a father.
Yes.
So I am a father.
I love that.
And,
I love that. I love that for you.
Got two other girls, Anaya and Olivia. They both have birthdays coming up.
Aww.
Anaya's about to turn 13. She's going to Central. And she's talking about boys.
Oh my gosh, homeschool immediately.
I'm about to threaten them both with homeschool right now.
Yes, that's it. Do it.
Yeah.
Please. And honestly, it just, I don't know what's going on in the world right now. I don't know if it's the water. I don't know. Like you said, it can be anything. It can be video games, social media, but I feel like there's some type of disconnection maybe in the home. And that's why I'm always like saying homeschool, or people are, maybe rushing to homeschool, but just to build that back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like nowadays things are getting even more dangerous, and I don't even know how to really say without saying too much and making it more of a fear factor conversation. But it's not. I just want to be realist about what's going on nowadays, and it's a little.
I think parents today have such a tougher job than I think our parents did. Us growing up, in the 80s, and some people watching probably the 90s, had a lot more free reign.
Yeah.
I mean, during the summertime, we'd be gone all day.
Yes.
Getting into all kinds of stuff that our parents never knew about.
Literally, like.
And we're back home, making sure that the chicken was out on time to thaw out, and everything was cleaned up, and everything was fine.
Yeah. That's it.
If you wanted to have a snack, you had to call your mom's job, like, "Hey, is Miss Burns there?"
Yeah,
so
Mama, can I have this, please?
Yeah. Can I have one more granola bar? Andrew ate the rest.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore.
The economy changed too, so
a
lot of people have to work. A lot of people really can't be home and commit and
work two, 3 jobs.
So it's
parents aren't home, and then you're dealing with the influence of
social media,
the internet.
I saw a study say that even like just, I guess if you're maybe, I think up to the age of 14, your child shouldn't have social media because it just depletes you. It's not, your brain isn't fully developed yet. So
and there's legislation going on at the state level and the federal level about how to balance that, how to restrict it, how to help control it,
and how.
And that's a great question, because whether we like it or not, talking about the economy, businesses are born on social media.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be an influencer.
Yes.
You can make money because you get views, or because these kids that open up toys and show people the toys they bought are making millions of dollars, and it's
Right.
very attractive. And you can be very successful doing that.
Yeah.
So how do you try to, and that's not going away,
Yeah.
right? Especially with AI and things
Oh
now.
yeah, it's not.
So how do you prepare your children for
Mhm.
this world that we didn't have growing up? I still have my AOL email that I got in '97. I think.
Holy, that was one of my favorite accounts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
But that was about it.
Yeah.
We got a chat room maybe,
And that's it.
But
Yeah.
now the world runs on social media.
Right.
Literally. I mean, I run the world on social media.
Everything, businesses, branding, everything is
Yeah.
on. Wow.
So how do you balance that with your children? How do you protect them from the bad things that
Mhm.
come from social media, whether it's pornography or things like that, but also communications.
Yeah.
Kids start bullying each other in these group chats and things like that. And it's things that I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Like there's every week it sounds like there's a new app or a new platform that's coming out
Right.
that you have to be aware of to make sure that your kids aren't being taken advantage of by a pedophile on Roblox or something like that.
Yes. Literally, I was just thinking about Roblox.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's so close. Like the connection where people can literally come into your home and just snatch your child. It's literally in the palm of their hands. I don't know. I'm always speechless about that because we need it, but we don't need it. We really don't at the same time.
Yeah.
We just need a hard reset.
Yeah,
Just
what was
reset
that
everything.
movie? Thanos would just.
Oh yes,
yeah,
literally.
something like that.
And just,
Just
I'm here for
kill
it.
it. Kill it.
Yes. Now, if you could have dinner with someone, dead or alive,
Mm.
maybe pick 5 people, who would it be?
5 people. Well, I mean, one of my sports heroes growing up was Bo Jackson.
Really?
Bo knows baseball, football. I love Bo Jackson.
Okay.
I had every freaking football card, baseball card that he had. I would
Right.
sit there and flip through my cards. Him and Nolan Ryan were my sports heroes.
Man.
But my dad made me read his biography, and it talked about how he came up and things. And so to see where he came from struggle to become what he became, and then what happened to him and what he's done since then, I think is just a blueprint of life.
Wow.
To how you can come from where he came from, use what you have to be successful, and then give back. I mean, I feel like that's what we should all be doing.
Of course.
Right. So I would love to sit down and talk with him.
Yeah.
About how to be better and how to make more people kind of go down that path. Not that people need to struggle. I don't know. Maybe people do need to struggle.
I think so.
I think people do need to struggle.
We need a reset.
Yeah.
We need a reset. It's
we
not
need
even
a
a
reset.
struggle. It's just reset. Just rewire our brains. We don't need a lot of the things that we have going on.
Right.
It's just it's killing us from the way we're eating, the environment, just anything.
I used to. Another thing people don't know is I used to be a preacher.
What?
Yeah. So
What?
one of the things I used to say when I was preaching is that the people who don't have a lot don't complain a lot. It's the people who have the most complain the most.
Wow.
When you see a homeless person, asking for money or whatever, and they got hardly beat up shoes, holes in their shoes. They're not complaining about a lot of things. But when you see that person pull up to Starbucks in their Escalade, with their Louis Vuitton or whatever is fancy, and they go in there and they don't have enough ice, the world has ended. And they're leaving reviews, and how dare this person say. Those are the people complaining the most.
Yes.
So I feel like we need struggle to appreciate and to be able to empathize with other people.
Right.
Not just sympathize, but empathize.
Right.
Walk on those shoes or those bare feet.
Right.
To see where people are coming from.
Man. Preach.
Amen.
Pass the Burns. Pass the Burns. Okay, so that was one person, Bo Jackson.
Okay, Bo Jackson. Who else would I want to have dinner with? Andrew Bourdain.
Okay.
And for 2 reasons. Because he can cook.
Yes.
And he knows about where, the good places to eat.
That's a good one.
But I really admired his experiences that he was willing to go experience and to try things, and not just do it personally, but share that experience with us.
Okay.
and unfortunately, he committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would like to talk to him about, because we know a little bit about why, he committed suicide because of his personal relationship and things like that. But,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to talk about that. So
Yeah.
not just about his experiences, what he did professionally, and experience in the world, but about his mental health
Yes.
and what that means, on such a public scale.
Right. Right.
So I definitely want to eat with him.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
Barack Obama.
Ooh.
Barack Obama.
Okay.
That was probably when he was elected in '08. That was probably the first time I really paid attention
Okay.
to politics. Not just because it was the first, black man running for president and winning the presidency,
Right.
but just that whole campaign, I felt like showed a good example of politics.
Yes.
I learned a lot about politics
Mm-hmm.
from that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I feel personally that Barack Obama was able to communicate with people
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the aisle effectively and professionally
Mm-hmm.
is something to be admired.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a skill set, to be able to speak so that people will listen.
Right.
And then not just listen, but understand.
Right.
And not just understand, but act.
Yeah.
I think he had all those things down.
Definitely.
I don't think his policies would have mattered at all if he
Mm-hmm.
just keeps talking.
Yeah.
'Cause people are just, leadership is, the definition of leadership is being able to motivate someone to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And he, by definition, was a very good leader.
For sure.
Because he could motivate people
Yes.
to do anything.
Literally.
And so I just admired that about him. And I think it's something that we've lost since then.
Definitely. Definitely.
Whether you like people like Donald Trump or not,
Mm-hmm.
the contrast couldn't be more of an antithesis.
Right.
It couldn't be more of a difference between the two.
Yeah.
And some people appreciate Trump's way of communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I don't think it's effective. I think it's the opposite. I think it's ineffective.
Yes, for sure.
Whether it's truth or not.
Right.
Because you can communicate a lie very well
Mm-hmm.
and make people act off the lie. We
Yes.
see that happen every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about how are you an effective communicator?
Mm.
And so since I'm in a business of communication,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to talk with Barack Obama about
I like that. I like that.
And then I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head.
No, that's
so.
good. Well, we could do 3. We could keep it 3.
Okay,
That was great.
all right.
That was great.
If I think of another one, I'll
yeah.
look it up.
No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Now, you did talk on mental health when it came to, and I love talking about just even men in general when it comes to mental health. I feel like men do not receive enough attention when it comes to, just expressing themselves or just getting the help they need. And, where do you think the ball drops when it comes to that, especially in Black communities?
It's such an important topic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a personal one.
Mm-hmm.
But especially coming from the military, and not just the military, but any first responders, police, firefighters that deal with a lot of trauma, right? It affects and impacts your mental health a lot.
Yes.
And I said this recently when I spoke at a city council meeting, that everybody has a worse day. Sometimes you have 2, but hopefully you only have 1. Mine was, my dad was killed. That was my worst day. He was killed right out here on the Indian River Lagoon in 1993. I was 13 years old.
What?
Yeah, he was hit by a drunk boater.
What?
Yeah, hit him. He was sitting in his boat, and the drunk guy was going this way. Had some water skiers. They were all drunk, and basically T-boned him. Day after Father's Day.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my worst day. But what I said at the city council meeting a few weeks ago was, as devastating as that is for me, when you look at first responders, they experience everybody's worst day every single day,
Man.
every single shift.
Yes.
So when I think about how that impacted me and still impacts me,
Yes.
how much more does it impact these people that experience this every day?
Right.
I published an article about somebody got hit by a train.
Yeah.
And people are, oh my God. And that's why I publish these things, because it's reality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to censor reality from people. I think it's important that they see the consequences or the results of actions.
Yes.
Um, and you know, a train accident is extremely graphic,
For
and
sure.
there's body parts and smells and sounds
Have you
and
seen
things.
one? Have you been on
Oh,
site?
oh yeah,
Holy
many of them,
man.
and whether they're by suicide, which is becoming an ongoing trend or an increased trend,
Mm-hmm.
or by accident.
Wow.
Some people just make stupid decisions thinking that they can beat that train, or sometimes like with, and I believe this is what happened a couple of days ago. There was an 83-year-old lady
Mm-hmm.
that got hit up in Rockledge at
Right.
the Esther
Mm-hmm.
crossing. Her car got split in half,
Man.
and you know there was pieces of her all over the track.
Damn.
When we saw the video of what happened before, she came up to the gates, and the gate she basically hit the gate, and she was 83 years old, and I think she might have got confused. And we've seen this happen before when
Oh.
someone kind of gets trapped
In
in the
between.
gate and
Yeah.
they panic,
Right.
especially when you have a fast train coming like the
It's,
Bright Line,
that thing is
you know,
moving.
and their decision making process is
Mm.
not, they're panicking, they're
Mm-mm.
scared. And how much more so for a 83-year-old woman? I don't know
Right.
what her mental capacity was.
For sure.
We don't know if she had Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever.
Right.
And so she made a decision that looked like from the video to just try to
Keep going.
get across,
Dang.
and she didn't make it. Probably not understanding how fast that train's going.
Right.
Yeah, the people in Melbourne, we had like two cars get hit like within a couple days,
Man.
exact same crossing, and I think
Is that right on 192?
no, it's right by downtown Melbourne, by where the
US 1 meets?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one goes pretty fast.
Yeah, and what happened? Both
Like,
of those people.
it goes down, the train will come through, and it'll go up, and then maybe another train will come, and it'll shoot down so
Oh
fast.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, what? New fear unlocked. Like that.
It's very fast, and I think
I
that's
don't like
the
that
problem
one.
is that people who grew up around the tracks
Yeah.
are used to living their whole life there and thinking that these freight trains are coming by at these slower
And they're slower,
speeds.
but they're not.
And they're not. Back in the day, you probably could have went around the track
Right.
and been just fine. But you can't do that now because by the time that thing comes down and goes back up, it's like 10 seconds.
Literally.
And they don't realize that until it's too late.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's just a very
But how do we tack on mental health? Like, what do you think?
yeah. So back to the mental health
Because it's really, I could say black community, but it's really not. It's all. Because, like, again, we can go back to the Charlie Kirk situation. That.
the mental health thing. I think is it's a private problem. I think is the best way to describe it. When you have a cold, people can tell you got a cold. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you look sick. You all right? You got a fever. You
Right.
look flushed. You got snot nose. Whatever.
Okay, stop doing that. I'm like, damn.
You're gonna make
Okay.
it sneeze. But it's something that's apparent.
Right.
We can identify it. Not so much, or if at all, where someone's having a mental health sickness, a
Right.
mental health. I don't even know if sickness is the right word. Just problem. Like
Right.
you're struggling with something. We call them thinking traps. Sometimes you get into this endless loop of a thought,
Right.
and you can't get out of it, and you need somebody to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody to be like, look, man, hey, she ain't worth it, whatever
Yeah.
it may be.
Yeah.
I've had soldiers that have blown their heads off
Man.
because they got drunk and were just thinking about this girl that cheated on them that they never even met. It was just an online relationship.
Right.
20-year-old soldier blows head right off.
Damn.
And you want to, like, how do you prevent that? And it's just, number one, you have to have a support
Yeah,
group.
because when you say private, it's really an individual thing. Like,
Yeah.
you really have to
It's a very personal
support.
personal
Man.
thing, and I'm very open. I've had PTSD in the military and also in law enforcement. It's something that was not looked upon, where you were looked at as weak, and you shouldn't be a leader because you should be able to handle that. You should be able to handle having to shoot a kid, that was about to throw a grenade at you. You should be able to deal with that. Suck it up, drive on.
Hell no.
But you can't. You
No.
can't do it because you have nightmares about those things. You see those kids in your own kids sometimes. So those are things that you're struggling with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the support system, it's very easy to kind of get stuck in that loop, that thought, that thinking trap, and make a split decision that ends your life. So I think that you have to let people know that it's okay to show them that you got a cold.
Right.
Show, hey, I need some help. I need
Yeah.
some medicine or something. I need somebody to talk to about this, somebody that I can empathize with or sympathize with,
Yeah.
and stop making it such uh, a negative
Mhm.
connotation with people trying to get help when they need it.
Right.
Because you can survive from a cold,
For sure.
but I think mental health is killing more people than viruses ever
Yes.
will.
Absolutely.
So I like to talk about it.
Mhm.
I like to make people feel comfortable to talk about it.
Mhm.
And I get criticized for it.
Why?
Well, I mean, and you asked before about if there was something I would redo. This may be the
Yeah.
one thing. So I had a friend, a lot of people knew him, Daniel Martinez. He was an attorney.
Yes, that's.
Yeah.
I did want to mention about that
Yeah.
because you were the first person on site filming that.
That was a tough day. Daniel and I were friends. Um,
Oh,
I knew about the incident that had happened that day. Um, I
you
just
said you knew?
I knew there was an incident.
Okay,
there.
right.
Because of where it happened, it was very public. So people are constantly sending me information.
Right.
Oh, such and such. There's police here. What's going on?
Right.
So I knew something had happened there that day, and I was in my office near downtown Melbourne.
But you wasn't sure.
Didn't know it was. I didn't know it was.
Right.
Danny. And so then I started getting a bunch of messages, people saying, "Danny Martinez killed him." I'm like, no. I was like, I just talked to him. What are you talking about? And I started getting more messages from people that are more credible, not to say so that
sure.
wouldn't just say that for no
Right,
reason.
for sure.
And I still didn't. I was like, I gotta go see this for myself. So I got in my car and flew over there to find out what was really going on.
Right.
And once I talked to the people that were there and the business owners, and some of the law enforcement, and found out what had actually happened, like I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of reasons. And I think people were saying things online at that time, because just like all of us, Daniel wasn't a perfect person.
Right.
But because he was such a public person, people would exploit his mistakes, just like people exploit my mistakes.
Right.
When you're a public person, you kind of open yourself up to that scrutiny.
Yes.
So I understand that.
Yes. Even when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's but at the end of the day, we're still, even like him, he was there for the community.
Right.
You're there for the community. So.
And that was what was really hurting me at that moment in time, was that someone who's done so much for the community selflessly.
Yes.
Whether it's handing out turkeys for Thanksgiving or doing toy drives or whatever, pro bono legal services for people that needed it. To see people start disparaging him so quickly after that incident was really having an impact on me.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do was set the story straight.
Right.
Still, a bad thing has happened, but this is what happened.
Right.
Not this other stuff that people were claiming that was just crazy.
So you were ready to bring good light and good, unfortunately it happened, but this is, don't forget.
And so when I did that video, first of all, the audio was terrible because it was windy.
Right.
And I didn't know it was as bad. And so I was trying to talk about some of the good things that he did there, and while also informing people about what actually happened. But it wasn't received well by other people.
Yeah.
And I took a beat down for that, bad.
I remember.
Bad. And I took it, and
and
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it, because it is what it is. If I could probably redo something, that would probably be the one.
So do you feel like that kind of hurt not your career, but in that moment? Because everything is always a moment. Nothing really lasts forever. But in that moment, I mean, things last forever when it comes to,
What I would say is, when I answered that question earlier, I said that it's not necessarily I would want to redo what I did, but I would want to take away the consequences of it.
Gotcha.
That video hurt his wife.
Yes.
And members of his family.
Yes.
Which obviously was not my intention to do. My intention was the opposite of that. And, doing things the way that I do, kind of live, that's what we're known for, is doing things on the scene as they're happening.
Were you able to apologize to her?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Good. Because you were
several
friends with
times.
him. It
Yeah,
wasn't like you were, had any malice or anything. Unfortunately, that field it comes with, you know, and I don't think you were really. I don't know, but I just feel that you weren't really trying to exploit that moment. It was really
right,
more so to
right. And I think that anyone who actually knows me understands
yeah,
that. And I'm thankful to be able to kind of talk about that
yes,
now, because I don't get rich from doing this.
no.
It's
You
a
have a team, right? As
I have a
well.
little team. I have a
Okay.
little team,
Okay.
but it's mostly me. Um, but I regret how that action affected people
Gotcha.
at that time.
Gotcha.
Um, and so when I reflect back on that, I think about how I could have done things differently. And
Yeah.
I've learned through this process. Like I said before,
Yes.
I've never taken a journalism class in myself.
Whew.
Right. Now I've just got recently accepted into Harvard's master's journalism program. Yeah,
Really?
so I'm excited
Congratulations. How did you do that with, I guess, your own experience? Is that what you showed them?
about that. Yeah, my own experience and just
Wow.
applying for it. You don't have to have a
The background
undergrad
for
in
that.
journalism,
Okay.
but you can apply for the master's program,
That's
like an AMS program. So I'm
awesome.
excited about that.
That's awesome. Congratulations. You're definitely going to do amazing.
But I mean, I hope I do amazing because
You will.
I feel like
You're very intelligent. You're very smart. You've done it all. What were you like? You said what was the other job? You said you were
the military nurse,
nurse, military,
marketing, social media
but
marketing,
But it was another one you said.
preaching.
Yes,
Yeah.
you were a
Yeah.
pastor. Like, come on, you
Yeah.
can take it all. Like,
I was a Sam's Club cashier when they first opened.
See? What can't you do is the question.
But a lot of journalists, and I have a good relationship with all the reporters in this area.
Mm-hmm.
We share information, but I do things differently. And I kind of made a little rant about this before. Because I get information and I put it out, I feel like I also have a responsibility and a duty to do something about it.
Right.
I think it's worthless to have information and not do something
Yes.
about it if you have the ability to.
Right.
So if someone's house burns down or someone's trailers get, torn up from a tornado and I report on it, that's good that people know that happened. But what about the people that it happened to?
Yes.
So what can we do for them?
Oh,
So
I see.
if I have 137 million people viewing what I put out every month,
Right.
if I can get a very small amount of those people to help those people that we're talking about,
Right.
I feel like that's more important.
Definitely.
Because we're not just reporting the problems; we're trying to help address them, and
Yes.
fix them.
Yes.
So I try to do that every chance we get. Whether someone's house burned down, what do you need? How many kids you got? What size do they need? Give me that information. I put it out, and they get more. Like, stop. We don't need any more.
Wow.
We had a guy who lost his trailer from a tornado. He got a new trailer, a free trailer.
What?
He got people bringing him checks.
All because of your posts and you spreading the
Right.
word.
Just because
Wow.
I asked the people to do it.
Wow. You're a hero.
And then, like, when there's
You
hurricanes, I don't like to say that.
Oh.
But,
You know he is.
um,
You are. Believe it or not, for the community, we need more people like that. We need
Well,
people like you that can actually connect, the dots that people need. We need help here.
I just feel like if you have the ability, I feel it's like it's your responsibility to do it.
Yeah.
And if there's a hurricane or whatever somewhere else, I'm gonna go get a U-Haul. I'm gonna tell people, hey, these people over here need this. Bring it.
Dang.
They bring it. I drive it over there and give it to them.
Yes.
And it's an easy thing to do.
Yes.
But if I have that platform to make that happen, you
Right.
gotta make it happen.
Yes.
So sometimes I get criticism from other journalists and other outlets because I don't just report the story. Like when it comes to corruption, if I find a politician has done something unethical, I don't just tell people they did something unethical. I file the ethics complaint.
Damn.
Who-
What if it's a relative? You would do the same thing?
Well, I only have one relative in office, and he better not. He better
But
not.
what if? Like, what if?
I would have to do it.
Yeah.
I would have to do it because
Damn.
I'd be lying to myself if I didn't.
Man.
But journalists, I had a guy down in South Florida. He owns a publication called the Bulldog Watchdog, something like that. But he's like, you're really, and he's been doing this for like 50 years. He's like,
Yeah.
you're changing journalism
Wow.
because you aren't just you are actually filing the ethics complaint. You're filing the legal complaint to do something about it. And he said, we were always taught that you shouldn't. I said, well, who taught you that? I was like, why is that the rule?
Yeah.
It's the rule because that was someone's opinion at the time when they wrote that book that you shouldn't do it. That's not my opinion.
So who taught you to do it?
That's just how I feel that you should do it. I feel that you have a responsibility to take action when you can take action.
Preach. Pass the burns. Wow.
But doing that gets very frustrating because you learn about the legal process and how things don't get taken care of the way that they should. Sometimes people don't get held accountable because of the positions that they're in. So that's also very frustrating, and sometimes that discourages me.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to write this complaint again? They're not going to do nothing.
Correct.
But I still do it because I feel like that's my responsibility. It's their responsibility to prosecute it. It's their responsibility to do something about it.
Right.
So if they don't, that's on them. But at least I've done, what I think I'm supposed to do.
For sure.
And I think that all journalists should be doing that.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's an attorney, a judge. He's a rocket man going to space next.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, before we close it out, I know I've taken up a lot of your time, but
all right.
So if you can give someone some advice, it can be a father, it can be someone that wants to get into journalism, maybe two different advice. What would you give them?
My advice is to, do what you're compelled to do. I don't live my life in fear. If something's going to happen to me, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've had soldiers that have to survive 5 deployments, come home and get hit by a drunk driver while they're walking across the street.
Holy.
So
man,
what's going to happen is going to happen.
It's inevitable.
Right. So I don't live my life out of fear of what might happen. If something happens, I deal with it. If some negative consequences come upon me, I deal with those consequences. But I made the decision that I thought was appropriate, that I thought I was obligated to do. And if something bad happens, I'll deal with what bad happens. The day's going to go on. Life is going to go on. But at the end of the day, I did what I was compelled, that I thought was right to do.
Right.
I think if I could give people advice, it would be to do that.
Yes.
Because you won't have regrets then. Like I said, you might not be happy with how the results of what happened, but you did what you thought was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'll always do.
Man, powerful. I'm so thankful that you came here and blessed the atmosphere and just give us some wisdom.
Yeah.
You're definitely an important pillar here in the community, and what you're doing is amazing. Not everyone can do it, so that's why you're blessed and you're here for a reason. You have a purpose.
And I have to thank the community, because I wouldn't be able to do this without the community.
Yes.
It's been 6 years now since we started this, and I think because the community gives me the information and entrusts me with it, I'm able to do this. So without them, I would just be a guy walking around with a camera hoping somebody would listen.
Wow.
But because the community trusts me,
yeah,
I'm able to do what it is that we do and hopefully make a difference doing it.
Absolutely. You are. So if people wanted to find you or contact you, where can they reach you?
SpaceCoastRocket.com. My phone number is everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can go on our website, find my phone number. I take everybody's call. If you want to complain about something I wrote or something I didn't write,
right,
I'll take those complaints too. I'm
Absolutely.
readily accessible. So you can go to our Facebook page, go to our website, Instagram, all those things.
Beautiful.
Contact us.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for being here. And as always, if you ever want to come back, this is home. So, yeah.
Hey, I'm amped up.
Yay! Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, have a great one.